Hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope you all are great. Today we will finish up our lesson on the prefix. First, you have to log in using the aplusstudent.com. Click on your name, move on to language at the grade 3, the grade 8 rather. So grade 8, and the lesson would be words with me's, words with on, this, in, im, and non. Okay? So this is prefix. So we did the first 3 lessons already, and we will finish up the last one, the last two. So prefix. Alright, so prefix can be added to the beginning of a base word. So beginning of a base word. Now base word is like a word on its own, a word that makes sense, all right? So if you have the prefix and it is added up to the beginning, it creates a new word. Okay? So that's like the importance of the prefix. So from the base word, you add prefix to the beginning and it creates a new word. Knowing the meaning of a prefix can help you determine the meaning of a word. The prefix mean incorrectly or badly. Okay? So whenever you see miss starting a base word, it means incorrect or badly. Alright, so let's look at some examples. Alright, so which book about Earth and Mars has mistitled? So now, what does that mean? One called Stars, alright? So this helps you determine that a book about Earth and Mars called Stars has been mistitled. Okay? Now, which are less likely to be misinterpreted? Clear instruction, misinterpreted, so incorrectly. Why might a nurse mismeasure patient temperature? Because the thermometer is broken, so mismeasure like incorrect measurements. So whenever you see miss, just know that it's talking about something that has been done badly or incorrect. So, what is a mismanaged business more likely to do? Succeed or fail? What do y'all think? So, mismanaged business will fail because it is managed like badly, all right? All right, so when are you more likely to misspeak? When you know a topic well or when you're unfamiliar with the topic? So, when you're unfamiliar with a topic, you're most likely to misspeak. How could a news report misrepresent an event? By giving too many details or by leaving out important details? All right, by leaving out important details. Okay. Which book about Earth and Mars has been mistitled? So we have one called Stars or one called Planets. All right, so one called stars. Okay, so yeah, what could cause a witness to misremember an event, being tired or being alert? All right, so being tired could make a witness misremember an event, which is an example of misbehavior, breaking the rules or following the rules. So breaking the rules for misbehavior. How can a reporter make sure that she does not misquote the source by using a recording device or by relying on her memory? So by using a recording device, she wouldn't misquote. Who has been mistaught? A student who was told Florida as a state, or a student who was told Canada as a state? All right, so for the second one, okay, Canada is a country, not a state. Which word is a speaker less likely to mispronounce? An unfamiliar word or familiar word? So which one? A familiar word, not an unfamiliar word. Okay. So why might a nurse mismeasure patient's temperature because the thermometer is broken or because the patient has become sicker? So because the thermometer is broken. Alright, so that's how it works with means. If you haven't done it, you have to make sure you complete this lesson. We'll move on to the last one under prefix. Alright, so we already know that prefix is usually at the beginning, added to the base word, and creates a new word, okay? So we have the prefix on, this, in, and non. Usually means not or the opposite. So all of this prefix on, this, in, non, all of them means not or the opposites. Okay, so they basically mean non or opposite. So which is a disadvantage in a race starting after other races? So if it's a disadvantage if you start after others, you need to start with them and you'll be at an advantage to win. If you solve a math problem unaided, how did you solve it? By yourself, without help. Which why might you distrust a news story? Because it contains false information. So remember that these words would literally mean like opposite or not. Alright. So when is a puzzle incomplete? So when will a puzzle be incomplete? When it's missing a piece or when all of its pieces are in place. All right, so when it is missing a piece, it will be incomplete, which means not complete. What might you do with a disobedient pet? Reward it with a treat or try to train it better. What would you do? Alright, so try to train it better. That's for the disobedient pets. What is a dishonest person like? Trustworthy or suspicious? Alright, so a dishonest person will be suspicious, of course. So, which country is more independent? One that is controlled by another country or one that controls itself? Alright, so we have one that controls itself is independent. Why might you feel disconnected from friends? Because you haven't heard from them in a while, or because you've been spending a lot of time with them. So, because you haven't heard from them in a while, you might feel disconnected, which would be considered improper. Walking to school instead of taking the bus, or wiping your nose on your sleeves. So, which is improper? Alright, so wiping your nose on your sleeve is, of course, improper. So, when is a story nonsense? When it sounds reasonable, or when it could not possibly be true? All right, so when it could not possibly be true, then it is nonsense. So, which is an infrequent visitor? One you often see or one you rarely see? What do you think? All right, so the one you rarely see is the infrequent visitor. So, which is a disadvantage in a race, starting before other races or starting after other races? All right, starting after other races is a disadvantage, of course. So, yeah. Which would be an impractical way to get from the United States to England, rolling a boat or taking an airplane? All right, rolling a boat would be very impractical. It seems very impossible. Why might someone become inactive? Because she's training for a marathon or because she has broken a bone. So why will someone become inactive? So because she has broken a bone, so she can become inactive. So which is disrespectful? Remembering to say please and thank you or forgetting to say please and thank you. Alright, so disrespectful is forgetting to say please and thank you. Alright, that's it for a lesson on the prefix. If you've not done the lesson in general, you have to try to complete that. But before we finish for today, can you tell me if you have any questions or not? Alright, so if you have no questions, we will end here for today. Have a good night. See you all next time. Bye, everyone.